October 18th, 10 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Here we are. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during this trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. Production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. Time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? Nah, I think we're good. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need to hear it again. I think I probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. The spear was found stuck in the chest of the victim. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. I don't like her. There's something about her I don't trust. Will the witness declare her name? Where did that come from? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? Oh no, this is April May all over again. I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Ooh ooh.
Ooh ooh.
Your name, please. Oh dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma. So even when I was there, oh my god, stop talking. Oh my god, she does that a lot. Believe me, it was the junior high, so I just cried and cried and cried. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. Witness testimony. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5 p.m. Now the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed towards the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. So there's nothing I can present just yet, right? So we definitely can't present this until later, just like Phoenix said. There's nothing I can do right here just yet. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since this morning. A run-through? We were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon, and they were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5 p.m. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there after noon? I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. At the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course! I'm a professional, you know? Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just after seeing you eat those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper-wapper! Snipper-wapper? Old Windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon, the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. 2 p.m., you're sure? Sure as spit. Well, who was the man? Really, you should try not to get too excited at your age. You might strain something. Now, don't get your skivvies all in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading towards the studio. So you saw Mr. Powers. That's what I said. Got wax in your ear, Sonny? Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to put the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. Present! Let me get this straight, Oldbag. Miss Oldbag? You've been saying this since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I like these faces. The badge is always the answer. I'll try that next time. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. You're having trouble calling her Oldbag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of an action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his legs, see? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle? Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. I don't trust you at all. And the run-through of the action scene. I saw Powers trip and fall. Trip and fall? Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. That morning? So Powers sprained his ankle. Helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. Yeah, here we go. That morning, I'll be listening to Solving from Bed. Robin Santos, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. Do whatever you need to do.
I have only one thing to say to you.
Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. The poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such, so she didn't see the run-through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. And you said this morning you weren't even there that day. Which prop? He broke a prop? Sure did, his own samurai spear. His samurai spear, the murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. A break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up right after lunch. Fuss the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot? Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Which is... where is this steel samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the steel samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the steel samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure? You're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the steel samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Mr. Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Witness's account continued. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I got through the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking, right. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Yeah, he didn't like that either. Old windbags sure has balls, or well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw was Will Powers. No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? Even before 1 p.m.? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. The witness's statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. This is the bad idea. I don't know why I did this. I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. must have to penalize you, Mr. Wright. I must be on the wrong track. Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret pal, he told me everything. I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officers' fondness for donuts. Wait, I didn't mean to do that. No one else went there. Oh my god, I don't want to be stuck already. This is stupid. Guide map to Global Studios. It's not letting you ask obvious contradictions. Exactly. I don't know, dude. How exactly are that evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? I don't think that won me any points with the judge. I don't think so, no. If they had, I would have seen them. Is ironclad? Bake 'em away, toys. Should I present it? I've already done it. This is not going to get me anywhere. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. The photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Didn't I already do this? I thought I already did this, didn't I? This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Ooh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on the 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that too. Issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Maybe not on the right line. Nothing is missable. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Suspicious lady is suspicious. Courtroom chatter. Order, order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there is only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, whippersnapper! The only person I saw that day was Mr. Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes. See, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Auntie boy, how? Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Uh-oh. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate? Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Well, yes. I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. The other person. Here we go. Every day, after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through all the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see? Come to think of it now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Where are we going? Every day, after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. It's going okay so far. Another job? That's right. I check all the people that passed by the main gate that day. I looked closely at every one of the photos that security camera takes. Do you back up all the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell me looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, now remember throwing out one photo that day. I'm just gonna press every statement now. Well, who in the heck won that photo you erased? A fanboy. I knew it was a fan who did it. A fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one else could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. Yeah, that one. That's the one I was real fishy about. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and... they're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased? It was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on your way to the studios that day. One was a steel samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh, yes. Well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him. Can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right! As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick? What's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Yeah, that might be important. October 18th, 11:08 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? I didn't go to the studio! I was sleeping, honest. So who was the steel samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The steel samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. And anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a stale samurai costume like that. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick, what are we going to do?
First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Let's see how well this goes. Oh boy. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present your prosecution's thoughts on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. Call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? It could go any way at this point. The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order! Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? Oh, 100% the security lady. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The steel samurai is dragging his leg in the picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag.
What? Whippersnapper?
Order, order. Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you.
Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the steel samurai costume and slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would you go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at that gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right there. Sherlock Holmes #2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What?
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't you sit there, do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? Should we give her a break? I don't know if her old bones can handle being in prison. Should we give her a break? I think we should press. We're gonna keep pressing her. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler, though. As you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds, tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure? Or is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day? Whippersnapper?
I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed. Don't see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? Yeah. Your Honor, the murder weapon was a samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, could the witness care to comment on this? The Windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Windy. What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking.
Oh my god.
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The Windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. I thought he said it was adjourned. Why can't we just save this for later? We're just not gonna stop the thing because the judge said so?
My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag? This is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the Oldbag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. But you adjourned the court. Why are we talking right now?
My lips were sealed.
Lobosayers wanted me to keep quiet about something. So you were told not to talk?
That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less.
Why didn't I hear about this?
Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder.
Like who? Who were these people?
Well, the director and the producer, for starters.
The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course! Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it.
I was
surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people?
The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2?
Bro, pay attention.
This Studio 2. They say it's empty and there's nothing being filmed over there, but you can't trust people anymore.
Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is.
Yeah, no shit.
You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but we can continue.
They said they had nothing to do with it, see?
Half the game is just people being stupid about things.
This is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you got your bonus and you still talked? I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. No harm in getting as much info as I can. So you were told not to talk?
That's right, by the studio bigwigs.
There were some other people at the studio. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? We could take a break, I think. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at the Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people who have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. No interruptions this time? Are we good? October 18th, 1:04 p.m. Defendant lobby number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Ah, really, it's nothing. Or should I...
Well, I'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and the producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have you figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been the old windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor old windbag. I kind of feel sorry for her.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right. We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. To be continued. Saving content. We are saving content. Yes, we are. Yeah, we can save over that. That sounds good.